Life is short, man. If there's one thing that is something that I realize as a parent, watching my kids grow and how fast that happens, and like me telling other parents or new parents if they ask for advice. Well, my number one advice for parenting is always like to master patience. I think that's the greatest parental advice I could give somebody. But don't rush it. You know what I mean? And, you want your kids to be in sports, or you can't wait till you can dress them in this or take them to this place. Trust me, those days are going to come, and you don't want to rush the process at all. You want to trust the process, as I say often, and understand that life is precious and it flies by. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like yesterday I was holding both my kids. I'm a father of twins in the palm of my hands, literally. You know what I mean? And now they're running around. My son is a whole superhero. My daughter wants to be an astronaut. It's just a beautiful thing. And, this takeoff situation is just tragic. We lost Pat Stay. And, rest in peace, Pat Stay. We were talking about that not so long ago. And just the tragic events that happen around the world all the time. To be honest with you, me I'm somebody that can't even be on the... I can't follow certain people. Like, there's certain people that, like, I even know in real life that I've had to unfollow on Twitter and Instagram because, I just don't like the things they're into. You know what I mean? It's no offense to them as a person. It's just like, this world is just too cruel. And even if they're like putting shaking my heads or hand praying, there's certain videos and the things they allow you to see on social media it's too much for me, man. I like to be in tuned but not consumed, off of what goes around in this world all the time. And, rest in peace, Takeoff, 28 years old, bro. 28 years old. Like, I'm young and I'm older than 28 years old. You know what I mean? And that is just like, and they're saying it's over a dice game. I don't know, like, any details other than that. You know what I mean? They're just saying that he was shot over a dice game. Over a dice game. Like, that's how little another life means to certain people. That, whatever the situation was, maybe someone didn't have the bread right there. Maybe it was an argument. Maybe whatever the case is, it's just, does it have to go to that level? And, again, life, man, it's precious and it could be gone like this. And, one of the first things I thought of when I seen this post, because I was hoping it wasn't true till I further looked into it and seen it was. I was in a gym, and I seen it, and I'm thinking to myself of, first, how life is so short. And I looked at it in the sense of, I feel like that was something that only older people said until I became a parent. And I was like, wow, time does fly. Look at how big my kids are getting. And then you see all these situations of seeing how short life is. And I thought of Offset. You know what I mean? We all know, the MIGOS, Quavo, Takeoff, and Offset. I thought of Offset, and I thought to myself the pain that he's going to or might be feeling, because I think of him specifically because these guys came in the game together. They was cool before they got famous together. And none of us truly know the details on why the MIGOS has split up. But I can imagine and almost guarantee that whatever the reason was that the MIGOS split up and Offset decided to be a solo artist, no matter the discrepancy, I know that it was not to the magnitude of being worth not being on good terms with somebody that I'm sure you still love and cared for, even though from a distance. Like I said, I don't know their true animosity, or if there even is one, or they just went their own ways, or good or bad, whatever whatever scale it fell on, it cannot be more important than not beating yourself up on not being on good terms with somebody who you truly did care for at some point in your life. And I also, in the same breath, hope that he doesn't fully look at it that way and understands and cherishes the great times they were able to have together, and the historic group that they made in hip hop, and the MIGOS will be around, and that sound, and, you know, their ad libs, and you know, Takeoff, yo, to be honest with you, we always debated. I like Takeoff the best. I thought he had the most unorthodox style, and like his flow, his sound was so different. And I also liked how, you know, let's not act like a lot of people looked at him as like maybe quote unquote not the most popular of the Migos, and I love people like that. I'm always the underdog guy, you know what I mean? Even my favorite rappers growing up was Lloyd Banks, J.R. Ryder, and I say that to say underdog is J.R. Ryder was just he wasn't a Jim Jones, Joel Santana, Cameron. Lloyd Banks wasn't a 50 Cent, and though it was Banks, but I'm just saying, like, I like Banks better than 50. You know what I'm saying? I just liked, though I like his sound better, I just loved, like, the guys who weren't the main focal point of certain situations. I had a bigger ear from them. I'd always never wanted to be a follower and just be like, oh, he's the best because they show him the most type thing. You know what I'm trying to say? And, you know, I just want to say rest in peace, Takeoff. And I also just want to add in the fact that what I was saying to y'all, you know, I'll tell you a personal story, you know, not to get too into it in detail, but long story short, a couple of years ago, me and my younger sister stopped speaking. And regardless of what we stopped speaking about, at that time, I thought it was serious. You know, I felt she was completely wrong in the situation. She felt I was completely wrong in the situation. Regardless of what it was, you know, we went a few months without talking, you know what I mean? She has her own crib, I got my own crib. It's not like we're on the same household, so like it's kind of like maybe crisscross when we both visited our parents with the kids or whatnot, you know what I mean? She's a mother, I'm a father, and it was just like, you know, very stale, you know, like, you know, that stupid sibling not speaking thing you do with each other, and so corny when I look back on it. But, you know, I was trying to stay strong for what I believed in, and she was doing the same until Christmas was coming around, and my father, he was like, you know, this is killing your mother, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, this thing with you and your sister, like, it needs to stop. Christmas is coming up, like, you know, your mother's really into the holidays, which my mom is, you know, bless my mother, man. She always does her greatest on Christmas. Even us as grown adults, she's always done her best, you know. Even when we didn't have a little to when life got a little bit better, she's always did the best in holidays, and that's just her thing. It's who she is. And that conversation I had with my father, it really hit me because, you know, I look up to him so much in my life, you know what I mean? And when I spoke to my sister, excuse me, the train is running above me. I spoke to my sister, and we basically had a conversation of letting it go. And in this conversation, I felt like I was the one pursuing peace. And I want to tell you, I tell you this for this reason, is I didn't feel like I was at fault completely, or even how it started. I still have my beliefs on it, feeling like it was her fault on why it went left. But I thought to myself, God forbid something happened to her or I, or God forbid, or our parents, or our kid, anything that'll make family realize that the stupidness, I don't know if that's a word, but whatever you're arguing over means nothing. If something happened to my little sister, I'll be the most devastated person right now, God forbid, and times two, if we weren't on good terms, if we weren't on speaking terms. So I just want to let y'all know that you have to make amends with who you can, and make things better with situations that are fixable. Fix situations that can be fixed, because life is so short. And what you think you're arguing over, what you think is worth it, what you think is, you know, a lot of time it's misguided pride in these situations. Does it really matter? Even if you have to take it that tragic of a thought process, like if my homeboy passed away right now, would what we're arguing over and not speaking about worth Us not smiling in each other's face one more time, us not giving an embrace and dap and hug and a drink or a meal, or asking how his kids are, my parents are, and having that dialogue of care and love for each other. Is it truly, truly going to matter in the grand scheme of things? If God forbid one of you passed away and you were on bad terms, so go out there, make a phone call, check on your homeboy, make things right with your homie, with a friend, with a family member. Really think of the situation of why you're not talking, and ask yourself, if they weren't here tomorrow, would I be okay with the last conversation we had? Rest in peace, Takeoff. My condolences to his family. Rest in peace, Pat Stay. Be safe. Stay dangerous out there. This world has no pity, no remorse for anybody. Life is short. Live yours to the best ability, because tomorrow is not promised for any of us.